Welcome to the 2024 International Folk Music Awards. Joining us on stage right now, Folk Alliance International Board President Ashley Shabankare.
All right, y'all. Well, before we start the show officially tonight, we want to take a moment to acknowledge what has happened just across the street at Union Station last week on February 14th. Lisa Lopez Galvez was a mother, a sister, friend, and many other things, but also a member of our musical community. Lisa was a programmer and DJ for Taste of Tejano on KKFI here in Kansas City, and I'd like us to take a moment to honor Lisa and the victims of gun violence everywhere. Thank you so much, everyone. I'd be remiss if I also didn't acknowledge that while this tragedy happened in our backyard, that the world has no shortage of conflict and suffering. Folk music is a force of positive change and a voice of peace and justice in the world. And this organization and this conference seek to be a space where our artists and members feel empowered to speak and sing their truths, where all feel welcomed and welcoming. We hope that throughout the IFMAs tonight and at our annual conference and beyond, that you connect with your peers in the community, share your music, and speak your truth. Listen and learn. Thanks. Listen and learn from the voices in the folk community who are marginalized, oppressed, and suppressed, because a peaceful and loving world is in fact possible. And now, please help me welcome the wonderful Kaya Cater, along with tonight's house band, the Steel's Wheels, together performing Odetta's Moving It On.
Any old way you can make it, baby, keep on moving it on. Any old way you can make it, baby, keep on moving it on. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Any old way you can make it, baby, you keep on moving it on. My country, 'tis for me. I moved to right the wrong. It ain't much that can be changed by standing up and singing my song. Well, I sing to keep the spirit bright and strong. Any old way you can make it, baby, will you keep on moving it on? If you can't fly, run. Tell the folks this too is your nation. If you can't run, walk. Tell them there won't be no resignation. If you can't walk, crawl to the post and vote in your determination. Any old way you can make it, baby, will you keep on moving it on? Run. Walk. Crawl. Any old way you can make it, baby, will you keep on moving it on? Any old way you can make it, baby, you keep on moving it on.
Please welcome from Folk Alliance International, Development and Partnership Director Alex Mallet and Interim Executive Director Jennifer Rowe.
Hello! We are so happy to welcome everyone with us tonight to the International Folk Music Awards. Whether you're in attendance with us in this room, streaming at home, or for the first time ever, listening via NPR Music and our friends at WKPN World Cafe. I'm Jennifer Rowe. Yes, absolutely. I'm Jennifer Rowe, the Interim Executive Director at Folk Alliance International.
And I'm Alex Mallet, Development and Partnership Director at Folk Alliance International. Welcome to the 2024 International Folk Music Awards. Let's make some noise. So, before we proceed with tonight's awards, we'd like to take a moment to recognize that we are currently on the traditional lands of the Kansa, Osage, Kickapoo, and Osage-Sakoan nations. So this week, we bring together Indigenous people from across Turtle Island and the world at Friday's Bemiwich meeting and showcase hosted by our partners, the International Indigenous Music Summit. Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. So we are deeply honored to partner with the International Indigenous Music Summit, or IIMS, and to find ways to support Indigenous professionals, community, and the musicians. And we hope that our whole community will actively fight for recognition of Indigenous people against the forces of cultural erasure and work to heal the wounds from the shocking histories and the current realities of these lands.
Thank you, Alex. Tonight, I have some news to share. We're excited to announce our return to Montreal, Canada for our 2025 conference. I know this is a big surprise. Montreal's Queen Elizabeth Hotel was our conference home in 2019, and many of you may remember the unique meeting rooms and the energy of the hotel, where Give Peace a Chance was recorded by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. For those who want to register early, oh my goodness, I forgot to bring the toque up here. We have a special edition red toque. That's Canadian for stocking hat, and it's super cool. We have a limited number, I believe about 100 of those, as a special gift for folks who register ahead at this year's conference for next year's conference. So you can go to the merchandise table on the Garden Terrace level. This year's conference theme is alchemy, as we are gathered together for a transformative experience. We hope that the next few days will transform careers, transform perspectives, and transform new relationships into deeply held friendships. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. We hope you find a home in this community, as so many others have before you.
So now, without further ado, it's time for our first award of the evening. More than 35 years ago, Elaine Weissman and her partner, Clark Weissman, co-founded Folk Alliance International, which at the time was a grassroots organization called the North American Folk Music and Dance Alliance, actually a gathering of grassroots organizations. So each year, we present 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards in Elaine and Clark's honor to a living recipient, a memorial or legacy recipient, and an active organization in recognition of the tremendous impact on the folk music community. To introduce our first Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, please welcome nominee for the Song of the Year, Abraham Alexander.
I'm honored to be here tonight to present the Living Lifetime Achievement Award to the inimitable Tracy Chapman. Tracy Chapman was born in 1964 and grew up in a working-class neighborhood in Cleveland, Ohio. With a mother and older sister where the family frequently listened to everything from Shirley Caesar to Mahalia Jackson to Neil Diamond and other pop artists. At 8 years old, Chapman started writing songs but dreamed of becoming a veterinarian. She eventually found her way out of Cleveland through a minority placement scholarship to attend a small progressive boarding school in Danbury, Connecticut. Chapman and her guitar became inseparable, especially after being exposed to songwriters like Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and Neil Young. She penned Talking About Revolution when she was just 16 years old. She studied at Tufts University in Boston, and her music eventually made its way to Elektra Records through a connection on campus. Chapman was 24 when she released her self-titled debut album in 1988, which included Baby Can I Hold You, Talking About a Revolution, and of course, Fast Car. That album went on to go multi-platinum and won her 3 Grammys, including the Best New Artist. In 1995, Chapman's album New Beginning featured the mega hit Give Me One Reason and went on to sell over 5 million copies. Chapman won her 4th Grammy for Best Rock Song later that year. And in 97, alongside many of the leading female voices at the time, she joined the inaugural lineup of the groundbreaking Live Fail Tour. Chapman's song would go on to be recorded by countless artists over the years, including this past year by Luke Combs, covering Fast Car, and was named by CMA the Song of the Year, making Chapman the very first Black woman to win a songwriting award. These days, Tracy Chapman keeps a low profile, making rare appearances like she did on the Grammys this year. And her playing Fast Car at the Grammys re-entered Fast Car into the Billboard 100 for the first time since October of 1988. When asked about any advice that she would give young musicians, Chapman replied in a 2015 interview, "In general, I would say hone your skills, figure out what you want to say, be clear about your goals and expectations, copyright your music, copyright your music if you're a songwriter, and love what you do." And the last is the important on that list. And I want to say, Tracy, it is so important to note that we love what you do, and we're so grateful for you. So many countless artists in folk, blues, R&B wouldn't be standing here if she wasn't the foundation and the pillar in which we get to stand. So can we give it one more time for Tracy Chapman? Unfortunately, Tracy couldn't be with us this evening, but I'm honored to accept this award on her behalf and read a brief statement she sent along to share. She said, "I would like to thank the Folk Alliance International for this unexpected Lifetime Achievement Award. I am honored to be in the company of highly esteemed previous awardees and wishing you continued success with your mission." And now it is with great honor to announce this next performer. To honor Tracy Chapman performance, Give Me One Reason, please welcome Troy Clark.
turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. I said I don't wanna leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. Baby, I got your number. Oh, and I know that you got mine. You know that I called you. Oh, I called so many times. But you can call me, baby. You can call me anytime. You gotta call me. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, oh, and I'll turn right back around. I said I don't wanna leave you lonely. You got to make me change my mind. Said I don't want no one to squeeze me. They might take away my life. Said I don't want no one to squeeze me. They might take away my life. I just want someone to hold me, oh, and rock me through the night. Can love you, oh, and give you what you need. I said this youthful heart can love you, oh, and give you what you need. Oh, see, I'm too old to go chasing you around, wasting my precious energy. Give me one reason to stay here, yes, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. I said, give me one reason to stay here, oh, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. I said, I don't wanna leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. Baby, just give me one reason. Oh, give me just one reason why. Baby, just give me one reason. Oh, give me just one reason why I should stay. You see, I told you that I love you, and there ain't no more to say.
To kick off the 2024 Spirit of Folk Awards, please welcome nominees for Album of the Year, Rainbow Girls.
How about this band, y'all?
Come on.
Tearing it up. And Joy, really, wow. Can we just give it up one more time? Thank you so much for playing for us.
Well, first, we're so honored to be able to be here with y'all, so thank you so much for having us. The Spirit of Folk Awards are presented each year to recognize people and organizations actively involved in the promotion and preservation of folk music through their creative work, community building, and demonstrated leadership.
These are the folks in our communities that aren't always in the spotlight, but they're doing incredible work, and they're working to help shine the light on everyone doing everything that everyone does.
Our next recipient is the great-great-niece of legendary Hall of Famer Leadbelly. In 2012, you can applaud that.
You can clap.
Come on now. In 2012, Tarika left the healthcare field to work full-time for the Leadbelly estate, now chairing the Blues Foundation and a member of the board for the Leadbelly Foundation.
Yeah. And as licensing manager and for the Leadbelly estate, Tarika develops projects to continue to expand Leadbelly's cultural legacy. Thank goodness. And advocates passionately for the preservation and celebration of the blues while strengthening the connections among the folk, blues, and Americana communities. Because let's be real, we all know we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Black musicians that forged the way with blues.
Tarika's work is a thrilling example of how a legendary artist can remain relevant and timely through work of those that carry that artist's legacy into contemporary projects.
So please join us in congratulating the Spirit of Folk recipient, Tarika Dean! There she is. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. I want to first start by saying my first introduction to Folk Alliance was actually in 1998. I came here for the very first time to witness my grandmother, Tiny Robinson, accepting the Lifetime Achievement Award for Leadbelly on behalf of Leadbelly. Now, 26 years later, it's with deep gratitude that I am standing here accepting the Spirit of Folk Award for preserving his incomparable legacy and also sharing the insight that I have gained over the years from many people who have helped me as I've come along. And I hope that I can continue to share what I've learned to other people to help them with preserving their legacies as well. I am extremely honored and grateful that I am standing here able to pick up where my grandmother left off and being able to continue to preserve the music of folk music, Leadbelly, and his influence on today's music. I also extend thanks to my family who have been with me in this journey, and we make it a family affair to keep his legacy alive. But also, I want to thank all of those who have supported me, who have taught me. It's a lot I have to learn, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. I also want to thank Folk Alliance, because this particular conference, we are able to do a screening of the Leadbelly documentary, something that has been in the works for many, many years. And you've got great people like Pete Seeger, Odetta, Harry Belafonte that are all in the film. So I hope you guys get a chance to see it on Saturday. And again, I just want to say thank you for just honoring me with this and acknowledging the work that I do. Thank you.
And now, please welcome Folk Alliance International Board Member Tina Roblowski.
Anine, bonjour. Bonsoir. Good evening. Buenas tardes a todos. Tonight, second spirit of folk recipient Amanda Rayom, a citizen of the Métis Nation of Ontario, an artist that has self-managed her music career for nearly 20 years. Co-founder of Skoda Records and currently serves as an operation director of the International Indigenous Music Summit, which is returning to Folk Alliance this year. I'm a little nervous, only because this means a lot to me. Amanda has been exploring her Métis roots through her art, with stories that weren't stressed as important during her childhood. She's now reclaiming their significance. Amanda is a determined advocate for Indigenous communities in the music industry. Her work in the folk community and beyond has been felt by artists in our industry. Chimigwech, thank you. Merci. Please join us in celebrating the spirit of the folk and recipient, my dear friend and co-worker, and winner of the Spirit of this award, Amanda Rayom.
It's like we practiced that. How's it going, everybody? Thank you. I'm new to hats. Really, I'm honored and humbled to receive this award, and listed amongst so many incredible people this year, not to mention all of the years before, but obviously Tarika Dean, Jared Rivers, and Jim Lauderdale this year. I feel really, just surprised and honored. I started playing music by going to open mics. All I did was travel around in Ottawa and Toronto and playing open mics, and that turned into being asked to host them. And I've been thinking about, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, so I've been thinking about what was the 20 years before and what's the 20 years coming up. And even for me, I used to get so much joy out of getting that list out there and seeing who would show up and sign up and get to sing and play that night. And it was always such a, just such a beautiful thing for me to lift up other people and be able to hopefully provide, even as something as simple as an open mic, this really nice experience each night. But for me, I follow in the footsteps of so many people that I've been inspired by, and I want to lift up Anna Mira. Anna Mira is someone that I've known for a really long time. She founded Babes for Breasts, and we used to tour across Canada, and we would gather other artists from all over the place and raise money for breast cancer. And I really, through that experience, and of course through working with Shoshona Kish, who I want to lift up her name as well, I've just had these beautiful opportunities that I've been able to work with incredible people and keep moving things forward. And so, for me, some of the most incredible friends and deep relationships I've made have been in this community, in the music community, in the folk music community. Of course, thank you, Folk Alliance International, for this award, but for also all of these experiences and being able to be together. And I have two more things. For me, the spirit of folk. I've been thinking about how we move in the world, and I've been seeing a lot of disturbing things, on the internet and throughout the world, in the news, of course. And so I'm just hoping to encourage everyone to think about kindness and how even in every single day in our worlds we can be more kind to each other, in big ways and in small ways, because without community we're not going anywhere. We really do need each other. And so I've been thinking a lot about kindness. And lastly, I'll say, in the spirit of folk, I'm playing a showcase at 12:30 tonight, and in the Mundial room in 534, and I didn't bring a guitar, so if anyone wants to lend me their guitar in the spirit of folk, I'm sitting right over there, and I really need a guitar. But really, thank you so much, Chimigwech. I'm honored to be up here as a citizen of the Métis Nation of Ontario, and so happy to see everyone. Thank you so much to Tina and to Folk Alliance International. Thank you.
To introduce the first of our member-voted Best of 2023 awards, please welcome to the stage Willie Carlisle.
Thank you so much for having me. These songs this year are as broad in their scope and instrumentation as the folk genre and address the uncertainty of our future with hope, grit, and honesty. With that, it's my great pleasure to present the nominees for the 2023 Song of the Year. They are Changes, written and produced by Joy Aladakun and Dan Wilson, performed by Joy Aladakun. Keep It on a Burner, written and performed by Margot Silker. Tears Run Dry, written by Abraham Alexander, Ian Barter, and Leo Standard, performed by Abraham Alexander. The Returner, written by Drew Lindsay, J.T. Nero, and Allison Russell, performed by Allison Russell. And Workin' on a World, written and performed by Iris Dement. Let's give it up for the nominees. Wonderful songs. And the 2023 Song of the Year is Workin' on a World, written and performed by Iris Dement. Iris couldn't be here with us tonight, and I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Folk Alliance.
Please welcome back to the stage Folk Alliance International Board President Ashley Shabankare.
Hello again. So we meet again, friends. I am deeply honored to present this year's People Voice Award, which honors the socially conscious roots of folk music and is presented to an individual who has unabashedly embraced social and political commentary in their creative work and musical career. After running away from their Bronx home at 17, Alinda Segarra headed to New Orleans and founded two bands some 15 years ago, Dead Man's Orchestra and Hooray for the Riff Raff. In 2014, Hooray for the Riff Raff had their debut with Small Town Heroes. The album featured The Body Electric, a song that NPR's Ann Powers and FAI board member called the political song of the year. From there, reconnecting with their Puerto Rican heritage, they released the 2017 album, The Navigator, with Alinda delivering musical instruments and inspiration to students in Puerto Rico in the years following. 2022's Life on Earth delves into the survival and what they mean for both individuals and society. Alinda has a way of speaking truth to power, recognizing that the personal is political, and making space for that truth to show up in their music. As a New Orleanian, I couldn't think of someone more deserving of this award. So please join me in congratulating this year's People Voice Award recipient, the incredible Alinda Segarra.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Alinda. Thank you for having me here tonight. I wrote something. I started writing songs as a way to have power in this world. I started a band to create a family. Since my first days playing music on the street in New Orleans, I've turned to the mystery of songwriting to document, honor, and defend the outsiders of society, the people and the movements that have kept me alive and have protected me. Folk music drew me in because it tells the truth, it disgraces the warmongers, it remembers the innocent. I also needed a form that was fluid and that was easy to carry on my back as I lived on the road. It's been enlivening to watch folk music once again become more visibly queer and radical. I'm honored to be a tiny part of this history, and it means so much to me to be recognized like this here tonight. We are making history right now, and it's our duty to continue to answer the call of our ancestors. Thank you to Bessie Smith, Ma Rainey, Billie Holiday, Woody Guthrie, Ann Leadbelly, Nina Simone, the Young Lords, Sylvia Rivera, and Marsha P. Johnson. Finally, I want to use this platform to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire and an end to the occupation in Palestine. Pa'lante, my friends. Peace and justice to you all. Thank you so much.
Please turn your attention to the screens for a message from Rising Tide Award sponsor Mortimer and Mimi Levitt Foundation.
Suspense was killing me, whether the music was going to play, so thank you for making that work. Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Vanessa Silberman, and I'm thrilled to be here with you tonight to present the Rising Tide Award, which was launched in 2021 to celebrate an artist under 30 who inspires others by embodying the values and ideals of the folk community through their creative work, community role, and public voice. As you just watched in our mission video, the Levitt Foundation is all about bringing people together of all ages and backgrounds through the power of free live music in public spaces. In 2024, the Levitt Foundation is supporting over 650 free outdoor concerts in, yes, in 45 towns and cities across the country, featuring seasoned, award-winning talent and acclaimed emerging artists. Many artists that have performed on Levitt stages across the country are part of the Folk Alliance community. And at Levitt, we are especially drawn to artists who, through their music and activism, are making the world a better place. And so it gives me great pleasure to shine a light on this year's Rising Tide Award recipient, the Guatemalan songwriter and vocalist, Sarah Karucic. Sarah is a shining example of the future of folk music, a future that is multifaceted, multilingual, qualities that make up the community's heart at its core and resonate deeply with the Levitt Foundation. Since emerging in 2012, Sarah has sung in both Spanish and the Cacique language of her people. I hope I pronounced that right. She's the first musician to use the latter in popular music. Her sound is thus born from her people's collective and individual history, culture, language, and struggles, as well as her own personal stance as an artist. She first gained her fame in Guatemala in 2015, but through her music and fierce attention for women's and indigenous people's rights, Sarah's voice and message of love, awareness, and respect has led many to regard her as a beacon of light and hope, which is why she's so deserving of tonight's Rising Tide Award. Unfortunately, Sarah couldn't be here with us this evening, but she sent along her thanks. So let's take a look.
With immense gratitude, I want to express my joy receiving the Rising Tide Award at Folk Alliance, an honor that fills me with pride and emotion. Being the first Maya singer-songwriter to be recognized with this prestigious award at the International Folk Music Awards 2024, it's a dream come true. This not only represents a personal achievement, but is also a step and testament to the diversity and richness that we as Indigenous artists bring. It's a powerful message for the new generation, a reminder that our voice and our music as women and Indigenous people deserves a legitimate space and the global music scene. I want to deeply thank Folk Alliance and Levitt Foundation for this significant honor. Also, all of you who listen to our voice, music, words, and memories. This recognition is not just for me, but for all entire community. Thank you for being part of this journey and supporting cultural diversity and music. Janila Matiochi Bebachalar.
And now to present the 2023 Album of the Year, please welcome Adrian Esco, Sydney Shepherd, and Regina Strayhorn, better known as Bandits on the Run.
Hi, y'all. We're not strangers now.
A great album is a rare and beautiful thing. It takes a particular combination of the right people, the right songs, and the right timing to all come together and create something lasting and magical.
This year's nominees have all managed to make their own magic in their own unique ways.
And the nominees are
Amatsu by Tanariwen,
City of Gold by Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway,
False Lankum by Lankum,
Stand in the Joy by William Prince, and
Welcome to Whatever by Rainbow Girls.
and the 2023 Album of the Year is
City of Gold by Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway.
Molly Tuttle and Golden Highway couldn't join us this evening, but sent us their heartfelt thanks. Let's look to the screens.
Hey Folk Alliance, and thank you so much for naming City of Gold Album of the Year. I feel so lucky to be part of this folk music community. I draw so much inspiration from the folk tradition, and when I was writing the songs for City of Gold, I really just imagined these songs being played by folks around the campfire. So it's a huge honor to win this award. I'm really proud of this record, and I couldn't have done it without my amazing band, Golden Highway. So I'd like to give a shout out to Shelby Means, Dominic Leslie, Kyle Tuttle, and Bronwyn Keith Hines, as well as my co-producer, Jerry Douglas, our engineer, Sean Sullivan, my co-writer, Ketch Secor, and everyone else who helped this project come to life. Music really is my city of gold. It's that thing that I've chased after and dreamed of my whole life. So thank you so much for your support. And I wish I was there with you all this weekend in Kansas City. I know we'd have a great time.
Please welcome 2020 Folk Radio Hall of Fame inductee Mary Catherine Alden.
Good evening. It is my honor to recognize the 2024 inductees into the Folk Radio Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was established 8 years ago to recognize DJs who have made an outstanding contribution, like you, an outstanding contribution to the preservation, promotion, and presentation of folk music, and who have demonstrated and inspired leadership in the broadcast field. Let's turn our attention to the screens to learn more about this year's inductees: Linda Fahey, Larry Gross, Jan Vanderhorst, Brian O'Donovan, and Bob Sherman.
This is Folk Alley and the Folk Alley Radio Show. Linda Fahey's love for folk and roots music started early on, while growing up in the folk-drenched Boston area. After teaching ecology and environmental science at a small private college in the Adirondacks of New York State, and presenting and promoting folk and acoustic blues concerts in the Saranac Lake area for 7 years, an unexpected twist of fate led to a job offer from Garrison Keillor to work for A Prairie Home Companion as associate producer. In 2005, Fahey joined the Folk Alley, and in the nearly 20 years since has become the heart and driving force of the station, which still broadcasts online 24 hours a day.
Well, thank you so much, and welcome once again to Mountain Stage Live Performance Radio from the Mountain State of West Virginia.
Larry Gross was artistic director and host of the live performance radio show Mountain Stage from its inception in 1983 until 2021. The show, produced by West Virginia Public Broadcasting and distributed by NPR Music, has featured over 2,000 different artists from across the U.S. and around the world, and is heard by hundreds of thousands each week on radio and podcasts. For his work on Mountain Stage, and as a Grammy-nominated performer himself, Gross has been inducted into the West Virginia Music and West Virginia Broadcasting Halls of Fame.
Just Us Folk, a journey through the world of folk music.
Since 1981, Jan Vanderhorst has hosted Just Us Folk, a show devoted to acoustic roots music both on the radio and online. During his 43 years in folk music, Vanderhorst has been a fixture at festivals, a judge for the Canadian Folk Music and the Juno Awards, and served on the board of directors of Folk Music Ontario and the Mariposa Folk Foundation. Recently, he has interviewed performers for the live stream of Kitchener's Folk Night at the Registry concert series, has published his interviews in books, and has been a regular contributor to Roots Music Canada.
And a very good afternoon, and welcome once again to a Celtic Sojourner program exploring traditional and contemporary music from around the Celtic world.
Brian O'Donovan served as an ambassador for Celtic culture while becoming a major figure in American sports and stadium concert production. Born in West Cork in 1957, he visited Boston in 1980 and never left, beginning on radio at WERS. There he began working in event production, which led to a gig with an Irish music festival. In 1986, O'Donovan began hosting a Celtic Sojourn Saturday afternoons on WGBH. That 3-hour program spawned a live event for more than 2 decades, a Christmas Celtic Sojourn.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Sherman. And for almost, but not quite yet, the very last time, let me welcome you to the folk songs of Woody's Children.
For more than 5 decades, Bob Sherman brought together emerging classical and folk performers, as well as established stars, for interviews and live performances. He joined his first radio station, WQXR, in the mid-50s as a clerk, eventually working his way up to program director by the late 60s. Around that time, Sherman envisioned a different type of radio program to connect with the surge in popularity of folk music. The station interviewed other potential hosts, including Pete Seeger, but Bob was ultimately chosen. He called the show Woody's Children, in homage to Woody Guthrie. WQXR canceled the show in 1999, but it was soon picked up by Fordham University's WFUV. In total, Woody's Children remained on the air for nearly 55 years, until Bob's retirement in early 2023.
Linda and Larry couldn't be with us this evening, but please give a warm welcome to 2024 inductee Jan Vanderhorst.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. At the Sheraton Hotel, they're giving out awards for the best paved roads. This is a lot better. Thank you very much. I'm humbled and very appreciative by this award. When I was 12 years old, I heard a commercial on 1050 Chum in Toronto for Career Academy about how you too could be a radio announcer. I was hooked. That was my future. When I was 15, I went to the 1971 Mariposa Folk Festival on the Toronto Islands, and it was there I found my music and my people. I'd like to thank all of the festivals I've attended over the last more than 40 years for the hospitality they've shown. Thank you to all the performers I have had the pleasure of interviewing, and for the generosity of their time and for their friendship. Thanks go to the late Richard Buchanan of CKPC Radio in Brantford for allowing me to start Just Us Folk over 42 years ago. Thanks also to the late Valerie Rogers. After I interviewed Stan Rogers in 1982, his mother gave me a list of about a dozen other singer-songwriters she thought I should interview, along with their phone numbers. It was Valerie who sent me along the path of doing interviews for the show. I'd like to thank the Ontario Council of Folk Festivals, now Folk Music Ontario, and the Mariposa Folk Foundation for the honor of serving on their boards of directors. Thanks goes out to Jack Cole and Folk Night at the Registry in Kitchener for asking me to do the intermission interviews for the live stream of their concerts. I'd also like to thank Heather Kitching at Roots Music Canada for encouraging my writing contributions to the website. Let's hear it for Heather. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Kate, for her constant support over these 42 years, as she's come with countless festivals and concerts with me. I couldn't do the show without her. When you do something you love, time flies by. Thank you to Folk Alliance International for this amazing award, and congratulations to my fellow inductees. I'm looking forward to more time flying by. Thank you very much.
And now please turn your attention to the screens to learn about this year's Legacy Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Chilean activist, songwriter, and performer Victor Jara.
The beauty and the power of Victor Jara's music stirred the emotions of the Chilean working class in the late 1960s and early 1970s. From the first note, his spellbinding guitar would pull a listener in. Then, with a warm and confiding voice, Victor would sing eloquently about common struggles and social unrest, with relatable lyrics that reflected the lives of the peasants and the poor. Victor Jara was born into poverty in 1932. His father worked as a laborer on an estate near Santiago, while his mother picked up odd jobs. As a boy, he listened to his mother play guitar and sing folk songs at funerals, weddings, and baptisms. Victor soon gravitated toward the guitar, learning chords and technique from a teacher, a neighbor, and his mother, who could all sense his musical gifts. Victor's mother took her children to live in the city of Santiago to escape his alcoholic, abusive father. When Victor was 15 years old, his mother died unexpectedly. In grief, he entered the seminary to become a priest, but stepped away after 2 years. After completing the country's obligatory military service, he then charted a new path when he auditioned for and won a place in the choir at the University of Chile. Encouraged by a friend, Victor enrolled in the theater department at the university. He appeared in several plays and met his future wife, Joan. In 1957, he befriended Chilean folk singer Violeta Parra, whose mission was to revitalize and preserve traditional Chilean folk music. Violeta also owned a small cafe in Santiago where Victor nurtured his musical talent on stage. Violeta Parra and Victor Jara were both well-versed in the canon of Chilean folk songs. However, instead of drawing on the same familiar themes of the past, they adapted the form to write new songs about the challenges faced by the everyday citizens of Chile. Today, both musicians are considered key figures in what became known as the Nueva Canción, New Song movement.
¿De dónde viene el viento, el sol y el agua?
This protest music genre emerged and spread throughout Latin America and directly addressed social and political issues. Almost from the outset of his recording career, Victor agitated conservative listeners with songs like La Beata, or The Blessed, which finds a woman attracted to the priest she sees for confession.
Estaba la beata un día, enferma del mal de amor. El que tenía la culpa era el fraile confesor.
In 1969, he caused more controversy with Preguntas por Puerto Montt, or Questions about Puerto Montt, which was critical of the government's order of police violence against squatters there.
Puerto Montt, no, Puerto Montt, Puerto Montt, no, Puerto Montt.
Victor Jara preferred the term revolutionary song to folk song. Leading up to the 1970 presidential election in Chile, he threw his support behind Salvador Allende and the left-wing Popular Unity Party. With extensive airplay on TV and radio, Victor's compelling and confrontational music proved crucial to spreading Allende's message to the public. He attended rallies, staged benefit concerts, and wrote Venceremos, or We Will Triumph, for the movement's theme song. After Allende won the election, Victor continued to teach at Chile's Technical University. In addition, he composed music to accompany the poetry of Pablo Neruda, then performed those songs at the ceremony where Neruda received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1972.
Me gustas cuando caes.
Persistent rumors of a right-wing coup became a terrifying reality on September 11, 1973, when General Augusto Pinochet led a devastating attack on Santiago. Chilean troops detained at least 10,000 Chilean citizens and foreigners in the city's stadium. Victor Jara was among those abducted. Recognized by some of the troops, Jara was beaten. His hands were intentionally crushed. Amid the revolt, Jara survived for a few days in the stadium. Despite his injuries, he would sing Venceremos, according to witnesses, and started writing lyrics to a new song which a survivor smuggled out of the stadium. Finally, carried away from the crowd by the military, Jara was shot and killed by Chilean troops. He was 40 years old. His widow, Joan Jara, served as an activist and advocate for the next 50 years. She died in November at the age of 96. The stadium where Víctor Jara was killed was renamed Estadio Víctor Jara in 2003. In that same stadium, Víctor Jara won a 1969 songwriting award for Plegaria a un Labrador, or Prayer to a Peasant. Yet his music and his life have transcended those stadium walls. His original song, Manifiesto, conveys the grace and the gift of one of Latin America's most loved artists.
Yo no canto por cantar, ni por tener buena voz. Canto porque la guitarra tiene sentido y razón. Tiene corazón de tierra y alas de palomita.
Buenas noches. Good evening. I'm Catalina Maria Johnson. As the chair of the Folk Alliance's Programming and Awards Committee, it is my profound honor to accept this award on Víctor Jara's behalf. The Víctor Jara Foundation sent along their thanks, saying, mediante este correo agradecemos a todos y todas ustedes y a la organización Folk Alliance International por el reconocimiento otorgado este año al legado de Víctor Jara, cuyas canciones representaron la vida cotidiana y la cultura del pueblo chileno en tiempos de relevantes luchas por la justicia y la democracia. Through this email, we thank all of you, as well as Folk Alliance International, for the recognition given this year to the legacy of Víctor Jara, whose songs represented the everyday life and the culture of the Chilean people in times of significant struggle in favor of social justice and democracy. Su música y su figura, asimismo, permanecen vivas en la constante lucha por la defensa universal de los derechos humanos, apuntando a la promoción y el fortalecimiento de la cultura popular en distintos países y contextos. Víctor Jara and his music still live in the constant struggle to defend universal human rights, and his legacy contributes to the promotion and strengthening of popular culture in varied contexts and different lands. A 50 años de su muerte y la tragedia de la dictadura, este reconocimiento permite relevar la importancia de la música como un medio para promover la participación y el valor de la cultura en la defensa de la vida, la tradición y la renovación de los anhelos. 50 years after his death and the tragedy of the dictatorship, this award highlights not just the importance of music as a medium to promote civic participation, but the value of culture in the defense of life, traditions, and the renewal of hope. Lamentablemente, la Fundación Víctor Jara no podrá estar presente en la conferencia en que se otorgará este reconocimiento, pero agradecemos y celebramos este premio en nombre de la memoria y la música popular. Unfortunately, the Víctor Jara Foundation will not be able to be present at this conference, but we express our gratitude and we celebrate this award in the name of Victor Jara's memory and the music of the people. Our sincerest greetings. Victor Jara Foundation. Gracias. Thank you.
In musical tribute to Victor Jara performing Manifiesto, please welcome Latin Grammy-winning artist Mireya Ramos.
Yo no canto por cantar, ni por tener buena voz. Canto porque la guitarra tiene sentido y razón. Tiene corazón de tierra y alas de palomita. Es como el agua bendita, santigua glorias y venas. Y se encajó mi canto como dijera Violeta, guitarra trabajadora con olor a primavera. Que no es guitarra de ricos, ni cosa que se parezca. Mi canto es de los andamios para alcanzar las estrellas. Que el canto tiene sentido cuando palpita en las venas del que morirá cantando las verdades verdaderas. O las linsombras fugaces de las famas extranjeras, sino el canto de una lonja hasta el fondo de la tierra. Ahí donde llega todo y donde todo comienza. Canto que ha sido valiente, siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva.
To present this year's Clearwater Award, please welcome Flamey Grant.
Let's talk sustainability for a second, shall we? The Clearwater Award is presented to a festival that prioritizes environmental stewardship and demonstrates public leadership in sustainable event production. As artists, we all know how important it is to take care of the planet where we get to make our music. And we'll always find the opportunity to prioritize playing festivals and venues that care as deeply as we do. I was born and raised in Asheville, North Carolina, and having recently moved back to those beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, I'm especially delighted to help shine the spotlight on this year's Clearwater Award recipient. Since 1995, the Lake Eden Arts Festival, known as LEAF, has worked to connect cultures and create community through music, arts, education, and experiences, to cultivate curiosity, preserve cultures, and promote global understanding, all while prioritizing sustainability through their extensive on-site policies. Nothing a drag queen likes talking more about than policies. Spring and fall festivals on the historic site of Black Mountain College, where founder Jennifer Pickering grew up, same girl, celebrate the roots and branches of music and dance, of American traditional music and the music of the African diaspora. LEAF Global Headquarters in Asheville's historic jazz club, Club Del Cardo, provides educational field trips for students year-round, as well as engaging in cultural preservation, expeditions, and global arts education. And they do it all while taking exceptional care of the natural resources that help sustain this beautiful work. So it's my honor to congratulate the 2024 Clearwater Award winner, the LEAF Global Arts Festival.
Thank you very much. My name is Lee Maher. I'm the festival director for LEAF Global Arts. I also happen to marry the founder, so I have the great fortune of also getting to live at the beautiful place at Lake Eden that was mentioned, that was historic. When we learned we were going to win this award, I actually went and read the bios of the previous winners. And I have to admit, it was rather humbling, which is fantastic, because it took a lot of really strong-willed people to push myself and our organization to enact many of the things. And when I thought about what sustainability was, to sustain means to carry forward, because while the organization's mission is preserving culture and education for generations to come, what does it mean if we don't leave them a world to do it in? So thank you very much.
Just really quick, we also have our board chair, Chinobe, from Uganda, who's been coming to LEAF in Lake Eden for 24 years now, 26 years. And it's such an honor tonight. Our theme this year is World Changers, and to sit amongst all of you all and to be reminded, international and folk musicians are who change the world. Thank you all.
To present the next Spirit of Folk Award, please welcome Past Living Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, Tom Paxton.
Hello, everybody. Oh, boy. This, the presence of Victor Jara, makes me feel like such a moral pygmy. We'll never get over that. I love getting back here. This is easily my favorite week of the year. I look forward to it. I come in the door of the hotel and I'm home. Don't you feel that way? I'm so grateful to the people who put this together way back when. and have sustained it so magnificently, grown it, grown it, grown it. I love seeing all the young people here getting into it. Some years ago, Robin Bullock and I were driving into some American city. I can't remember. Suburbs all look the same. Waffle houses and auto parts shops and everything. And down the road, Robin was driving. Down the road, a couple blocks ahead, I could see a man in a bear suit. It was a hot day, gesticulating madly. And as we got closer, my heart went out to this guy. And as we went past, I said to Robin, I wonder if he has an agent. And if he does, what did the agent tell him? Jim Fleming would never ask me to wear a bear suit. But if he did, I would. Jim Fleming is all in for his artists, always has been. He became an agent, he explained to me, because he wanted to take the job of finding a goddamn gig off the to-do list for musicians. He wanted us to work on our music, and he would take care of the business. And he has done that magnificently ever since 1979. He's represented Stan Rogers, Ani DeFranco, Kate Wolf, and nowadays Jeff Daniels and My Raggedy Ass. He's there for us 24/7. And I can't thank him enough for all these years. I've been with him since 1987. Before that, I had 27 years of looking for a good agent. I finally found one. That search has ended. I want to thank Jim on behalf of all of us artists to this very day, and for as long as we need him, we hope. Would you join me in the Spirit of Folk Award to my pal, Jim Fleming?
Thank you, Tom. It's been an honor to represent you and to have you as a friend for all these years. Before I acknowledge some other people, I just want to say that one of the things that distinguishes this music conference from a lot of others is yes, commerce happens, but from the time you arrive here till the time you leave, there's never a question that it's front and center is the music and the community. I want to acknowledge a couple other artists I've worked with for a long time, over 40 years. Connie Calder, and my good friend, and I call him a brother, Garnet Rogers. I also want to acknowledge two people with whom I couldn't have accomplished this. My friend and business manager and partner, Cynthia Dunitz, and my friend, business partner, and assistant, Carla Rice. "22 years ago, in Jacksonville, Florida, at Folk Alliance, I got into a taxi cab and met the person that would literally change my life, Eleni Kalakos. 20 years ago tomorrow, we were married in Big Sur. And after we were married, we went to south of San Diego to Folk Alliance. A brilliant romantic move on my part. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the folk community for embracing my artists and the artists I've represented all these years. It's been remarkable. And I also want to thank the International Folk Alliance for this honor. I'll cherish it always. Thank you.
Presenting the final Spirit of Folk Award, welcome back to the stage FAI Interim Executive Director Jennifer Rowe.
Wow, what an amazing night it has been, honoring the work and spirit of so many wonderful people. The final Spirit of Folk recipient is no different. Jared Rivers has devoted almost 11 years of service to Folk Alliance International. A musician, engineer, and producer, he was the first local hire when FAI relocated to Kansas City, serving initially as the membership manager, later taking on systems and technology responsibility as operations evolved, and ultimately landing as conference director. Throughout it all, he's focused on the community and gives his all to Folk Alliance and its mission every day. Please join me in congratulating my colleague, my friend, Spirit of Folk recipient, Jared Rivers.
Oh, man. Thanks, guys. Oh, man, it's good. It's like a late night show. I love it. This is awkward. One of the perks of the job is I don't have to stand up in front of everyone. I get to work in the back, and I love it. But thank you for this. I wasn't really able to prepare remarks or anything because I've been trying to figure out how to get 1,000 chairs into 48 showcase rooms. That's the job. You know, it's weird to receive an award, too, when I've really not done anything that wasn't part of an incredible team, which is what Folk Alliance is. So I just want to say thank you to the incredible staff, the talented contractors that make this happen. It's an incredible team that comes together every year because we love Folk Alliance and we love this event and we love this community and we want nothing more than to give our time to all of you. So thank you to them. I want to say thank you to my wife, Ashley, who is a constant support in my life, who doesn't even get to see me after Christmas. Forget it. Doesn't happen. I want to thank the guy who hired me, Lewis Myers. Yeah. He taught me what the heart of Folk Alliance was and how to protect it, and I appreciate him for that. I hope that you all are here long enough to learn what the heart of this organization is too. I want to thank Angus Finnan, who taught me how to make a seat for everybody at the table. Yeah. I hope he's safe wherever he is, probably on the back of a horse in Panama. But most of all, I want to thank my friend and my constant support in this job, Jennifer Rowe. Give it up for her too. Thank you all.
What's going on here at Farhoff is a beautiful thing. It's really going to be beneficial to our culture. It's going to entertain people, and it's going to educate people, and it's going to preserve a great part of American musical history. And I'm just honored to be a small part of that.
From the Folk American Roots Hall of Fame, Boston's Living Music Museum, please welcome President and CEO Joe Spalding.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here once again to present the 2023 Artist of the Year Award, sponsored by our own Folk Americana Roots Hall of Fame, affectionately known by all of you as Farhoff. Currently, Farhoff is the world's only Hall of Fame that exists in a living, breathing performing arts center housed at the Wang Theater, a National Historic venue in Boston that presents well over 100 events a year, including a few of the nominated artists that have already played and hoping all of them someday. The artist factors in not only global airplay and the chart tracking from a new record, but also career momentum and activity over the past year. This year's nominees are Billy Strings, Digging Roots, Gabby Marino, Maida Diaz, and Nickel Creek. With thanks to all the members of FII who voted to determine the winner, the 2023 Artist of the Year is Billy Strings. Billy couldn't be here today. He just finished playing my stage recently, so that's good. Billy couldn't be with us tonight. He's on tour, but sent along an acceptance I'd like and honored to read. Dear friends and colleagues of the Folk Alliance International, I'm incredibly honored to receive this award today. It makes me all warm and bubbly inside to know that you all think little old me, I consider him young, and the fact that my name even comes up in the name of conversation as the other nominees still blows my mind. I'm still just incredibly grateful for this life of music. I made so many great friends at Folk Alliance back in 2013-14 when I was ripping showcases and picking all up and down them hallways and those hotel rooms. I'd like to say to the Folk Alliance for giving us artists a place to come together and make lifelong friends, showcase our music, bump elbows, meet the right people, and start to grow our careers in an organic and natural way. I appreciate it so much, and I hope I can make it to FII next year and jam with everyone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this amazing honor, Billy Strings.
Please welcome back to the stage FAI Board President Ashley Shabunkare.
Hello, it's me. Well, before we present our final Lifetime Achievement Award of the evening, I want to thank all of you so much for joining us tonight to celebrate our wonderful folk community. Let's give everyone a nice round of applause for this evening. This entire event would not be possible without our wonderful team at FAI and our extensive contractors. So we want to thank each and every one of you for the work that you put in tonight and for the upcoming week ahead. Please give them all a round of applause. They're incredible. But seriously, though, I'm obsessed with this team, so just let it be known I'm going to get all their names tattooed on me later. I also want to congratulate again all of tonight's well-deserving nominees and winners this evening. Once again, a nice big round of applause. This is the clapping section. And now I am thrilled to introduce our final award of the evening. We're going to turn to our screens to learn more about this year's Business/Academic Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, McCabe's Guitar Shop.
McCabe's Guitar Shop in Santa Monica, California, has been a landmark destination for acoustic jazz and folk music from around the globe since 1958. Founded by furniture maker Gerald McCabe, the store initially built its clientele among the area's folk and roots performers looking to purchase or repair a guitar or perhaps for songbooks and records. Through their instructional classes, McCabe's has introduced generations of aspiring musicians to the pleasure of playing acoustic guitar, banjo, mandolin, dulcimer, and numerous other instruments. In the late 1950s, a customer who knew about Gerald McCabe's woodworking skills sought him out to fix an acoustic guitar. Deciding to branch out beyond furniture, Gerald quickly built a reliable clientele through friends of his first wife, folk singer Marcia Berman. He hired an ethnomusicologist friend, Ed Kahn, to sell books and records, and entrusted guitar repairs to Walter Camp. One of the store's teenage customers, Bob Riskin, took a part-time job there in the early 60s. Riskin, who grew up in West Hollywood as the son of screenwriter Robert Riskin and actress Fay Wray, first discovered McCabe's while looking for someone to fix his 1912 Martin. Along with sweeping the floors and running errands, Riskin learned the skills to become a luthier in those early years at McCabe's. He remembers meeting another teenager who came into the store nearly every day, impressing the staff with his unbelievable guitar playing. The young musician's name, Ry Cooder. McCabe's moved across Pico Boulevard to a new location in 1964. That same year, Riskin met his future wife Esperanza, known as Espy, when she came in to purchase a guitar. By the late 1960s, the retail space had created an area for musicians to perform. When Riskin learned that guitarist Elizabeth Cotton and her accompanist Mike Seeger needed to find a gig after their LA appearance was canceled, he gathered his students and presented a concert inside the store. Because McCabe's didn't yet have a permit to host a concert, the storefront windows were concealed with trash bags. About a year later, McCabe's booked the local band Brindle for the venue's first public concert. Local up-and-coming songwriter Jackson Brown opened the show. With rows of folding chairs, the small room soon attracted incredible talent eager to play for attentive audiences. Over the years, McCabe's devoted concert directors have included Robert Kimmel, Nancy Covey, John Chalou, Lincoln Meyerson, and Brian Rodriguez. By 1972, the independently owned store moved to a larger location, just one door down on Pico Boulevard. Walls filled with glossy photographs showed a staggering array of acoustic performers that have performed for just 150 listeners inside the unassuming space. These world-class musicians have ranged from Doc Watson and Bill Monroe to Emmylou Harris and Bonnie Raitt to Richard Thompson and Loudon Wainwright III. Customers have included George Harrison, who bought a ukulele, and Joni Mitchell, who came to hear a concert featuring Hawaiian slack-key guitarists. A 1998 story in the Los Angeles Times describes the vibe of McCabe's guitar shop as quiet, friendly, honest, unpretentious. Indeed, McCabe's has long been known for its approachability. Allen Ginsberg once dropped by to say hello before Arlo Guthrie's performance. And before their breakout success, Los Lobos called the store to see if they can open for Flaco Jimenez for free. At a 50th anniversary celebration staged at UCLA in 2008, folk singer Odetta performed as part of a lineup with Blind Boys of Alabama, Peter Rowan, and many others. Jackson Brown returned in 2018 to celebrate the store's 60th anniversary with a pair of sold-out shows. Bob and Espy Riskin, who took full ownership of the business in 1986, announced their retirement in 2020. The store is now owned and operated by their daughter and son-in-law, Nora and Walt McGraw. After more than 65 years in business and with a show calendar brimming with talent, McCabe's Guitar Shop remains a cornerstone of the Southern California music community.
Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheel drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can. Don't even try to understand. Just find a place to make your stand. Take it easy.
so pleased to present this award to McCabe's second generation owner, Walt McGraw.
What an honor, thank you. When I was on my way to the airport this morning, our manager was going in the opposite direction on the way to the hospital with his wife, and I haven't been texted yet, but it's possible that a brand new baby girl has just joined the extended McCabe's family. So congratulations to them. Nothing like a brand new baby to put in perspective what we can achieve in a single lifetime, right? For McCabe's, folk music has always meant providing a platform and giving voice to the downtrodden, to those who are overworked and underappreciated. Well, giving them voice and also selling them guitars, right? But you guys really are proof that folk music can lift our spirits, can right wrongs, and can do some good in this world. And so this Lifetime Achievement Award really belongs to you, not us. As Shakespeare wrote, McCabe's is just a stage. It's y'all who have to play on it, or something to that effect. One last thing, last year was our 65th anniversary. It also marked 100 years since the Equal Rights Amendment was introduced. 100 years, and it still is not part of our Constitution, which is hard to believe. My daughter pointed that out to me just a couple years ago. So I'd like to say for this baby girl who's coming into the world right now, maybe that's something we can do in her lifetime. Imagine. Just imagine that. All people created equal. It kind of has a ring to it, right? We could sing about that. I'd just like to say special thanks to Bob and Espy, of course, my in-laws, to Walter and Jerry, who started the place, to all the musicians who have come through and made it special, and to our staff. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks to the Folk Alliance International. And I can just say, all the definitive history is probably make-believe, but the legends are all true. So thank you very much. On with the show.
To close out the evening with a tribute to the origins and continued legacy of McCabe's Guitar Shop, please welcome Willie Watson, Malena Cadiz, and the Steel Wheels.
Uh-oh. The Incredible Hulk screwed this microphone stand in. If anyone knows how to loosen it up. There we go. Well, thanks, everybody. My name is Willie Watson. Everybody knows that one. That's Elizabeth Cotton's Freight Train. It's one of the first things you learn when you start finger picking like this. And it's pretty cool and you're pretty proud of it, but then you become too cool for it. I never thought I'd be playing it again. So they asked me to come talk about Elizabeth Cotton and Jackson Brown and McCabe's music store, which I've been to. I live in Los Angeles, so it's kind of the only reason I knew about it. I played in this fancy band for a long time, about 20 years ago or so, and we did a show there, and I don't remember it at all. I just remember going in there after I had moved to LA in about 2007 because I needed like a kazoo or something, and I knew they'd have them at McCabe's because if there's one place that doesn't belong in Los Angeles anymore, it kind of doesn't fit in anymore, especially on the west side in Santa Monica down there, near Venice, Bob Dylan's coffee shop. You know, I'm so glad it's there. Like I said, I don't remember when I was there and playing a show, but I got to play a few songs with the Be Good Tanyas there once. Remember them? Yeah. That was a lot of fun. So all I can do is tell you about what I know about it, which isn't much. I'm not a historian. You know, I heard about a story about she needed to get home. Elizabeth Cotton needed to get home because of a canceled show or something, and I'd imagine maybe they were going to pay for her travel, and that didn't happen, so she felt stuck, and she needed to get home, and they helped her out and put on a benefit concert to help get Elizabeth Cotton back to Washington, D.C. I think that's probably where she lived at the time. But I imagine she wanted to get home. It's probably sunny there, but it doesn't really matter. See, I've lived there for a long time, about 20 years, more longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life. Before I moved there, you told me, you know, go hang out in LA for a while. I didn't want to do it. I really didn't like that town, but I didn't know much about it other than Highland and Hollywood and the Holiday Inn that was down there. And I got used to it when I moved there. I moved to the Pacific Palisades, which was on the west side, Santa Monica, near McCabe's. And it was in the spring, and it smelled like jasmine. And I had just come from New York State, and it was February there. And it was like spring in L.A. At least it felt like it. And I got used to it, and I've called it home over the past 20 years. And I've raised a child there. I got to hang out with Jackson Brown. He comes to my shows sometimes. Tells me he likes the songs I write. And that's cool, man. You know, I get to feel cool living in that town, being part of whatever scene there is. It ain't at McCabe's anymore. I wish it was. All I can tell you about it now is that I don't want to live there anymore. It's just kind of worn me down, you know? It's not like where I come from, which I forgot all about. Tiny little town up in New York State, where I learned about Elizabeth Cotton and Lead Belly and everybody that taught me how to play guitar. And I've been longing for that lately, you know? It's like what Elizabeth Cotton sounds like, where I come from. There's apple orchards and long Finger Lakes. And I forget all about it. I just want to let you guys know that I'm totally winging this story. I know she just wanted to get back home. When I die, bury me deep, way down on old Chestnut Street, so I can hear old number 9. She goes riding by. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Oh, people, look around you. be the one to care. You're lost inside your houses. There's no time to find you now. Oh, the fires are burning and your towers are turning. Gotta leave you here, try to get down to the sea somehow. Rock me on the water, sister, won't you soothe my fevered brow? Oh, rock me on the water, I'll get down to the sea somehow. The road is filled with homeless souls, every woman, child, and man who have no idea where they will go, but they'll help you if they can. Now everyone must have some thoughts that's gonna pull them through somehow. Well, the fires are raging hotter and hotter, but the sisters of the sun, they're gonna rock me on the water now. Rock me on the water, sister, won't you soothe my fevered brow? Oh, rock me on the water, we'll get down to the sea somehow. Oh, people, look among you. It's there your hope must lie. There's a seabird above you, gliding in one place like Jesus in the sky. We all must do the best we can, and then hold on to that gospel sound. When my life is over and I stand before the Father with the sisters of the sun, they're gonna rock me on the water now. Rock me on the water, sister, won't you soothe my fevered brow? Oh, rock me on the water, and maybe I'll remember, maybe I'll remember how. Rock me on the water, the wind is with me now. Oh, rock me on the water, I'll get down to the sea somehow. Gonna get down to the sea somehow.
Thank you for attending the 2024 International Folk Music Awards. The exhibit hall opens tomorrow at 12 p.m. with the Bose Listening Lounge available in Roanoke All Conference. Enable your push notifications in the conference app to receive up-to-date info and reminders of featured programming, such as Ann Powers interviewing Alinda Segarra and daily keynotes featuring Noel Paul Stuckey, David Israelite, and Lucy Kalantari. Have a wonderful week. Good night.